in our family because my wife's from Russia and they don't have Thanksgiving in Russia. And it's one of those things where you just kind of need to grow up and have these certain tastes and flavors of Thanksgiving. And so I love that. For me, like, I was thinking this week of like, what Thanksgiving dish, if it's not included, will you just be like, I'm done, I'm out, I can't do this year? For me, it's mac and cheese. Like, there has to be mac and cheese at the table. And if there's not, like, it's hard. I mean, the struggle is real. It's hard. If mac and cheese is not there, the meal's just not complete. Having the turkey and the stuffing and it's the combinations, and like mac and cheese has to be part of that. But so what is it for you? If that thing is not there, then it's just not Thanksgiving for you. What is it? Write that in the comment. Whatever that food is for you. It's probably your favorite dish too, right, of Thanksgiving. And so I love the meal. The meal is so good. Just to stuff your face with all the food, and then the carb coma that happens, and the nap, and football, and sleeping while football is on in the room. And yeah, it's great. I love that meal, but I like to eat. So, and it's, two birds with one stone. But I don't really like the idea of Thanksgiving in America. Like, I love the idea of giving thanks. That's, yes, absolutely, being thankful for things. But, we celebrate, in many ways, a myth, the things that didn't actually happen. This is very common in American folklore, so to speak, American mythology, that we take events that there was an event that happened, and then over the years we've transformed that event to fit the narrative that we want it to fit, right? Like, we do this with religious freedom and the Pilgrims. We do this with democracy and the American Revolution. We do this with Christopher Columbus and sort of like Manifest Destiny. And we oftentimes move out the reality and pain that was happening around it and just replace that with good memories, good thoughts. So on Thanksgiving, we often think of like, oh, it's the Native Americans and the Europeans are coming together and sharing this meal. And like, yeah, there was a coming together and a sharing of a meal. But the reality is that, as in America, 90% of the natives died from war, from disease. Some of that wasn't protection, it was a lack of concern on the part of the European settlers, because they ultimately wanted the land and they felt like it was theirs, and that God was giving it to them. Like, that's the real story. Like, that's the story of America. Like, here we have settlers coming and believing that God is giving them something, this land, this money, this job, and it doesn't matter whose it was before. It's a story of tragedy. It's a story of pain. From the Native American, from the indigenous population, it is a story of loss. We lost so much here. It is a story of lament. It is a dark time. It is like a dark day. It is a celebration of a terrible event. And that is commemorated, I believe, in the Native American community with great sadness. And the true story is much more closer to the reality that the settlers, this small group of European settlers, was dying. And they couldn't get through the winter. And they were almost dead. And out of the grace and the kindness of the group of natives to come bring them food so they could eat, so they could feed their kids. But yet we turn this around, don't we, to forget that part, how vulnerable and how the white settlers were, and how they were on the brink of death, and they were saved, literally saved, by an indigenous population who watched them loss of their land, the loss of their people, and then they reached out in that moment to save the group of people that were causing them such great threat and such great pain. Like, Wow. So I think Thanksgiving is a story not of God, thank you for giving us this land. And thank you for giving us all these blessings. For me, Thanksgiving is a story to remember and be thankful for people who sacrificed to save us. People who may be different than us. For Thanksgiving, I'm thankful for Native Americans, for the indigenous population. I see the pain, still the pain that they suffer through of this great loss. I follow many on social media, and I'm always struck by the generosity and the grace. I'm struck by how, too, that they see the world, and I'm so thankful that they see the world from the planet's and nature's point of view in many ways. They remind me of the importance of nature, of the earth, of the spirit of earth, of the way that it sustains us, the way that we need it, and the way that we should be protecting it. And they are connected in a much deeper way than I am, and I need that in my life. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the black community in so many ways, and their long suffering fight for justice, and the way that they open their arms to me to stand alongside of them in this work for justice. It enlarges my life. It makes me a better human. I have to encounter realities that make me uncomfortable. When I stand alongside the black community, when I listen and learn, it forces me to come to terms with some of my own oppressions built in that I participate in daily. And it forces me to prune back my life in many ways. It hurts, but it is beautiful and good and necessary for the thriving of a group of people. So I'm thankful for the black community in relationship with, for the constant ways that they continue to invite me in when they would have every right to push me out. I'm thankful for the LGBTQ community, which has embraced me so beautifully, and I find a community in their community. I find meaning in their meaning. I find hope in their hope. And to be, in some little way, part of their struggle for equality. And I see in them the image and life of God in a group of people that are different from me in many ways. All these groups of people are different from me. And yet I find beauty in them. I see the image of God in them. I see new life, and I see things that I haven't in my singular experience in my community that I haven't ever seen before. I'm encounter with opportunities that enlarge my life, that give me new meaning, that help me to see God working in new ways through groups of people that I didn't know that God would work that way. And it's beautiful. So I think this Thanksgiving, maybe we should, instead of, being thankful, like we should be thankful for the things that we have, for the blessings that we have, that we talk about our family or food, but maybe we also should be thankful for the gift of people that are different from us, because they are gifts. I love this. One of my favorite authors is Jonathan Sacks. He's a rabbi, and I was reading this, and I shared this on Sunday, but one of the things that he says here is that God, where is it? The trace of God is what he's talking about. He says, next time you meet someone radically unlike you, try seeing difference not as a threat, but as an enlarging possibility, creating gift. I love that. Maybe one of the problems that we face in our world is that we just are in groups that are just like us, and so we're not growing. You can't grow, you can't be enlarged, you can't be challenged when everybody that you hang out with and everybody that you talk to and everybody that you go to church with is just like you. You're going to begin to think that your way is the right way, is the only way, it's God's way. But when we can encounter a group of people that are different from us, our lives are enlarged. Because now we see, like, wow, there's a different way of seeing the world. There's a different way of seeing God. There's a different way of understanding what's happening here. And that always enlarges us if we open our hearts and our lives to it. It's a gift. And I think maybe this Thanksgiving, we can be thankful for being in a relationship with people that are different from us. And if we're not in relationship, then we need to be in prayer. God, help me, open doors to me. Help me to see the ways that I can move out and reach out to be in a relationship with people that are different from me. I think that's the beauty of our life. Difference is good. It keeps us growing. It keeps us moving. And right now we are at war with difference. We are fighting with people that are different from us. It doesn't seem for any real reason, just that difference is something that we critique as seeing difference as something that is bad. Maybe we should see difference as good and beautiful and enlarging and be thankful for that. To find ways to be thankful for those groups of people, because there's so many ways. You know, when we have hard times, we begin to see the ways that other people annoy us, that other people bother us, that other people challenge us. And but I think our stature, our way should be always to be gratitude, to be full of gratitude towards someone else, because there's always things to be grateful for. I love what Paul says in Philippians. He says, do everything without grumbling or arguing, so that you may become blameless and pure, children of God without fault in a warped and crooked generation. Then you will shine among them like the stars in the sky, as you hold firmly to the word of life. And then I will be able to boast on the day of Christ that I did not run and labor in vain. But even if I am being poured out like a drink offering on the sacrifice and service coming from your faith, I am glad and rejoice with all of you. I think we should live this way, to be poured out, that our lives would be poured out. And to pour our lives out, we need to be grateful. We need to be hopeful. To pour our lives out on the altar means to pour our lives out for the benefit of others. And I think the only way we can do that, the starting point of pouring out our life for the benefit of image of God in every single person, and realize if I don't have that person in my life, then I'm lesser. If I don't have that person in my life, then I'm incomplete. If I don't have that person in my life, then I lack the wisdom and experience that they have in their life. Like, I am enlarged by other people. So this Thanksgiving, may we remember the real story of how we're suffering, reached out to another group of people who were suffering and saved them. May we remember that we need each other in this life, that we don't have all the answers, that we aren't strong enough on our own to make it, that we are not the only ones through which God works through, but together we need each other. We'll save each other. So let us remember that and be thankful and grateful for what God is doing in our lives, but not only our lives, but in the lives of those around us. Hope you have a great week. Hope you have a great feast. Stay healthy. Stay smart. Make good choices. Like I tell my teenager every time he leaves, make good choices. And I feel like that's America right now. Make good choices. So hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Lots of great food. And your gratitude is bubbling up through this week. This Sunday is the first weekend of Advent. So we begin the new church year, which I'm very excited about. And this weird time where we get to celebrate God coming among us in Christ. So I hope you have a great week. I'm praying for you. I love you. I'm thankful for you.